Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm your host, Ian Carlos Crawford, and co-hosting this episode with me is entertainment journalist, comic book writer,
Stephanie Williams.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, so today we are joined by the illustrious Brett.
The illustrious Brett.
That's me.
Who is a senior reporter for The Decider.
Hi.
Hey. And we are also joined by a wearer of many hats like Alex Mack.
LaToya Ferguson. Hey, guys.
Hey.
Brett and LaToya, I'm so glad you're both here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm okay with being here. After having those mediocre mozzarella sticks.
LaToya did inform us right before we started that she was eating leftover mozzarella sticks, but I think that's a great way to start recording.
Not if you never wanted them in the first place.
LaToya, you didn't have to eat them, but I mean, who doesn't love a leftover mozzie stick?
They were food. I'm like, what food do I have in my fridge? These leftover mozzarella sticks? Okay.
I hope that was the first thing you ate today.
Yes.
That would be like, I feel like when I lived in New York, my fridge was just like, I can have this one leftover pizza and this one chicken finger. Great, that's what we'll eat for breakfast.
There's only like 1 month out of the year where my fridge is never not upsetting, but like the rest of the year, just like, this is what it is.
Let's work with what we got. So we're here to talk about episode 5 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. The show has definitely picked up towards the end here. Even the previously on, I was like, God, it was like the previous on was watching him murder that man from the end of the last episode. Just like fucking.
And it was my favorite.
When that happened, I remember like when Disney Plus was launching, they're like, well, we're going to be the family-friendly streaming service. Like, we can't have Love Victor on our thing because it's, we're all ages. We want that show to be a little more adult. And now it's like, here's Captain America decapitating someone in the street. Love it.
Isn't that just America for you? The violence, that's okay.
Yeah.
But they draw the line at homosexuality or naked butts.
Or Lizzie McGuire, like living her life as an adult.
2 teen gay boys holding hands and maybe smooching? Absolutely not. But like decapitation, yeah, that's fine. No big deal.
God, loved it.
But so a thing that I was nervous about that they were going to do, I was like, oh, are they going to try to make us feel bad for him? Because I do not want them to spend time on that. And I was the top of the episode almost made you feel that way, but then I was glad that we didn't like dwell on that. I was really worried we were going to get like, I don't know. Did any of you watch that season of Orange is the New Black where that fucking officer like murders Poussey and like they give him a whole storyline?
I wouldn't know anything about it because after that happened, I was like, well, this show is officially dead to me. Good luck.
That's very fair.
And knowing what this show is doing and just knowing it's very aware, it is surprising that he did not get off the hook for what he did.
Right? But I was glad he didn't because I thought, he was like yelling and whatever. And sure, like if we're going to make him, sure, we can have him grieve over his best friend, but like just don't try to make us feel bad for him. And I don't really think they did, which great.
Yeah, it's a real, like, I love what they're doing with him because it's so, they could have made him a Proud Boy. Like, they could have adapted U.S. Agent to just be like, it's not even a dog whistle, it's a dog bullhorn, and he's just like a Trump voting asshole. But instead, they've done what Mark Gruenwald did in the comics, where like, because I think both me and Stephanie, did you also read that recently? I've read that for the first time recently.
Yeah, no, I read it and then like did a whole little thing because I was fascinated by the way, like why he was introduced, not just to boost comic sales, but to actually clean up the image of Steve because Steve had like shot someone. And I guess fans were like, yeah, so Steve Rogers is going to be the Punisher now. Like, let's go into that. And Mark was like, actually, no. So let me introduce this character to like further prove to y'all. I mean, like further like bring home the point that, it's who's in the suit, not the suit itself. So that was fascinating.
In the comics, he's introduced as like an adversary and kind of a jerk. But then as soon as he gets the Captain America costume, you go into his head and he's like, well, I don't want to fuck this up. Like, I need to be Captain America. This is great. And they're like, you need to go fight the Watchdogs, who are the Proud Boys. And he's like, well, I mean, I agree with everything they stand for, but they shouldn't be killing people.
Jesus.
And I think they're doing that in this, where like, he's clearly got anger management issues. It is very not okay. He is all over the map. But I feel for him when he's screaming at the people that, like, you made me. Like, I am a soldier. I'm an American soldier that went through American boot camp and American, like, serving overseas. Y'all did this to me in a way, which is really fascinating because I realized, I'm just like screaming now. Steve Rogers was never a soldier. Like, Steve Rogers went through boot camp and then became a mascot. And so in some way, like, he was never tainted by whatever the American military industrial complex does to these men. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a lot. It's so much.
And like, I almost cared for him, but the way that they've repackaged him, I actually like, because it fits today. Like, I said this early on when he was introduced, but this is somebody who would have Black Lives Matter in their bio on Twitter, but still say stupid things like, put your pointy sticks away. So like, there's that's not even subtle racist, just people that we encounter all the time that you're not supposed to be like, oh yeah, they're not Proud Boys, but no, like they would probably still agree with the things that they agree with. What John does, he just doesn't do it in the same fashion. So
the way that he treated the Dora Milaje is just like, yeah, that's it. That is it in a nutshell. The fact that like later he was like, they weren't even super soldiers. It's like, yeah, no, they don't need. They're the fucking Dora Milaje. The fact that his worldview is so small that he can't even understand.
As his black wife comforts him afterwards. So
he can't be racist, you guys. He has a black wife. I mean, come on.
Exactly. So intentionally or unintentionally, this is great.
I think of you saying that, I kept thinking of like when you were like, yeah, he's not like full MAGA, he's like someone who is Black Lives Matter, so he thinks he's like cool and like thinks he's not racist. And that's how I kept viewing him, especially in this episode. Like,
as spit flew out of his mouth.
It was very Brett Kavanaugh moment. Like, it was so screaming.
Oh, Lord.
Kill me.
Privileged white men screaming in a court setting.
Black best friend who died trying to help him because he didn't tell his best friend that he took the serum. If he had told him, his friend would not be dead because he wouldn't have tried to help him, but he was helping him because he thought that they were, equals, on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked what they did in this episode because I felt like they did not try to make him what he isn't. They didn't try to be like, look, he's a good guy. It was just like, then I've seen so many memes comparing like when Steve Rogers, when like Groot is like, I am Groot, and he's like, I'm Steve Rogers. He's not like, I am Captain America.
Yeah, it's
like,
the most beautiful moment. I wrote a whole 1,000-word essay about why that embodies everything Captain America should stand for, but we don't have to.
I remember that, Brett. So Bucky and Sam confront him. They like have caught up with him, and Sam is trying, and like this version of Sam that we've gotten in the last half, I have liked a lot more because I like that he's not going immediate to violence, and a lot of these heroes, that's Bucky's go-to. And I appreciate, for me, that does make him more Captain America, right? Or like more Steve Rogers like. Whereas like, yes, that makes sense that he would take the mantle because he's like, hey, like he's kind of trying to be compassionate. Like, I know your best friend just died. Let's relax. Let's not fight. But Walker Cap is like, no, I'm going to fight. He's like definitely trying to murder both of them in this fight. Right?
I love that it speaks to both, like Sam Wilson in the comics was a social worker, I think.
Well, not really. So just real quick, Sam, his history is a little flubbed because of the cosmic clue. It's very flubbed because at one point he was like a pimp, a street hustler, and everything. So we'll go with the better, the not stereotypical background and
running
just say
for Congress, Sam Wilson, and like that. But like when we meet Sam in Winter Soldier, he's counseling people at the VA. Right. And like I love that this series, and like no other movie since then has touched that. And I love that this series, and we see it later in this episode, is really leaning into Sam Wilson like PTSD counselor.
Yeah.
And you're right. They never mentioned that again. And I'm glad they have, because I loved that scene of him and Carly talking in the previous episode. And I don't know. I like that it's like this hero that even Steve would have been more prone to be like, let's punch it, I think. And Sam is more like, hey, let's talk about our feelings. Even though Sam can sometimes come off as such a like puffy chest bro, I appreciate that he's like, let's not escalate this in like almost all these situations.
Well, that's just because Anthony Mackie has such a large chest, and usually I am not objectifying Sam and Bucky. I'm a good person, and I would never objectify anyone. But in this episode especially, I'm like, what if you did some trading without your shirts? You know?
Why don't you pop those shirts off?
It's like a big chicken breast.
I like really noticed in this episode, like he's so large, and I need to see what's happening.
And he's the one that comments on Bucky's tiny t-shirt, like, you're here with your, they don't care if you wear tiny t-shirts. And it's like, Sam, you're busting it.
It's like, ladies, why don't you all just kiss? Like, we're all talking about our t-shirts.
Because his titties were tittying. This episode.
They were. It was like, this is how you know it's a really good episode, because it, like, you know, it had this great writing, but also look at their chests.
So sometimes I think the MCU can do like they don't, you know, we got it a few times with like Cap and Tony, where they would like, you know, Tony would use the shield, or like Thor would use the shield to like, you know, make his powers go out farther. LaToya, to pander to you, I felt like this was like a really good wrestling match, because these are like all guys, no one shoots a laser, no one shoots anything. It's just they're fighting and they're like tag teaming him.
Yeah, it was.
And I was a little worried that he was going to get away. Like, I didn't think he was going to kill them, but I was like, oh shit, is he going to like get away? And that's how he becomes a villain. I was glad that he did not get away.
Yeah, it was a nice little handicap match, or in this instance, given the Bucky Sam relationship, more like a triple threat match where there's an uneasy alliance, because that's kind of what they have. And they were going after Walker, who was like the John Cena of the situation.
It was like, watching that fight, I really hit home, and I guess that's kind of the point of this episode that like, Sam is just a guy with a good backpack. Like, yeah. He's not super strong. He's not going to take a super soldier serum. Like, I don't think that is in his character to ever do that. I hope. We'll see what happens next week. And so it really hit home, like, how is he going to be Captain America, or like playing on this field where he has to go up against a maniac like John Walker? It was really, he had to use his brain, and also his little tether stringy grappling hook thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little bit of like when they had that fight on that truck, and it's like, they're all humans here. Wouldn't one of them be dead from flying off that truck so hard? Man, when they broke his arm, I will say I became my Puerto Rican mother, and I clapped. I was like, oh yeah, fuck you. Like, I was like, so glad they broke his arm to get that fucking shield. And it just felt good. It felt good to watch. I was upset when he ripped Sam's wings off.
Oh,
that like hurt. I was like, no, those are his fucking wings. I kind of thought he was going to end up ripping off Bucky's arm too, since we see that can, I was like, oh shit, is he going to be strong enough that he can just rip the arm off? But what did we all think of the outcome of this fight?
I was happy. I wanted them to fuck him up even further. Like, I wanted him to get curb stomped. But it was just really fun to finally see them like jump him when they finally got him together. And I don't know, something about that last hit that finally took him out just brought, like, my heart grew 3 times the size that it was before the episode started.
Oh, the shot of when Sam gets the shield and like he's rubbing that blood that's on the shield, that shot just like really stuck with me, because it's like,
yes,
that's like his best friend's symbol that he gave, like, just like the weight of that moment, and like how much pressure and like how much respect they have for this like inanimate object, this hunk of vibranium that has been destroyed and put back together multiple times. I don't know. It's really touching.
I will say, I get that like Drag Race meme of Michelle Visage being like, it's a piece of fabric. Like when people say that about like the American flag, I get that way about this shield, where I'm like, it's a fucking piece of vibranium. Like, everyone relax. But like when it comes to Bucky and Sam, I understand it, because it's like, that's their best friend's thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the only time I'm like, yes, I understand why you two are upset about the shield because your best friend used it and like it was his symbol.
And it's all they have left of him.
Right.
Like it's such a... And it was used to decapitate someone.
Yeah.
Like, it's like taking your grandma's quilt and like using it to strangle someone. Like, the disrespect.
Grandma's quilt.
I don't know.
So yeah, they basically capture him. They get the shield back. But I liked the imagery of Bucky. Like Bucky has the shield, but Bucky like gives it to Sam and walks away. Like I really liked that because I was like, ugh, is this going to be an annoying where they're like having a dick measuring contest over like, oh, well, you gave it away. Oh, well, Steve gave it to me. But I was cool that like, this is the version of their relationship. This episode is the version of their relationship I wish we had been getting the whole series, where it's like, yeah, sometimes they'll be shitty to each other, but they're not going to pretend that they fucking hate each other and will never speak to each other again. Like, just like, you can bicker a little, but like, we know you're cool and be friends, right? Like,
Part of it is why we need more episodes in the season, but it's also, this is what happens when the movies aren't necessarily as concerned with the characterization of stuff as these shows seem to be. It was like WandaVision. I didn't care about Wanda or Vision until that show. I think I possibly cared slightly more about Sam and Bucky going into this show, but, you know, they're not friends, so you have to build up the buddy thing, and now we're like at the end of the season, and now they're finally becoming the buddies in this buddy cop show that we have going on. So it's a whole, it's ending now. It's and it's kind of like all these shows ultimately are setting up for movie stuff too, which is so it's weird because it falls into what TV kind of is now, which I've written about, which is like TV has become like a whole season is just one long pilot. Like the season all builds up to what the premise of the show actually is.
Runaways when they run away in the season finale. God damn it.
Recently, I was at Hulu's Woke, where it's like, oh, he finally accepts the call, like in the season finale. Made for Love on HBO Max, which I actually really did like. The real premise of Made for Love is formed in the season finale. So hopefully it gets renewed, fingers crossed, because Kristen Milioti is awesome. But yeah, that's what TV has become, basically. It's just however many episodes is your season, it's a pilot of that many episodes. So that's kind of like part of the struggle for this show in general. Because I think the concepts that this show is introducing into the MCU and what Malcolm Spellman is doing is very good. And like, I understand a lot of them. And that's why, again, I thought John Walker was going to get off very easy in this whole thing based on what the show has been telling us and the story. But that's just one of the unfortunate things about what TV is right now.
I mean, that's a really good point, LaToya, because I feel like a couple people kept saying that during our WandaVision episodes as well. And I could see the argument for WandaVision, but I felt like WandaVision did it better. I don't know. How would you rate WandaVision on that category, LaToya?
I think it's a better show in general, just because I think it's more focused of a show. I think that the show has a lot of very great concepts, but because it feels like it needs to be much longer of a show. So it's kind of just like we're introducing these things, and if you know, you know. Like honestly, if you're like, Steph, tell me if you agree with this. Like if you are a Black woman watching the show, like you get this. You don't need to have further elaboration with things that are going on. Like I watch this show with my mother every week, but like a lot of other people kind of, you have to go into detail if you're not a Black woman watching this show.
Yeah, I agree.
LaToya, one, I love that you watch it with your mom.
The Marvel shows so far, and that goes into like my like weekly show watches along with wrestling and Superman and Lois.
I love that. I've been trying to get. So LaToya and I both have moms that kind of like the same shit we like. I've been trying to get my mom to watch these shows, but my mom kept calling WandaVision. She'd be like, "Oh, how's that Marvel Twilight Zone show with the witch I like?"
See, you should make pins that say "the witch I like."
Right.
That's
my mom doesn't remember any of their names except for like Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. Everyone else she just gives like she likes Wanda because she liked that she like used her powers against Thanos, because my mom always says if she had powers, she would want them to be witch powers, or she could like throw things at people. But yeah, I've been trying to get her to, I've been wondering like what she would, I think WandaVision, if we could watch it like in three sittings, she would be like okay with it. I think if she had gone episode by episode, she would have been like, I don't get it. This is too much. And my mom, all the Puerto Ricans in my family have ADD, me included. So I feel like she would have trouble like concentrating on what was going on. Yeah, where are we? Oh, Torres comes in. They're coming to get Walker. Sam keeps the shield. We get the nod of like, Torres is like, you're forgetting your wings. And he's like, you can keep them because Steph, as you have explained in a previous episode, he does become Sam's Falcon, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's just so weird though that, and I get why, but that he was introduced as a military person when he was just a dreamer in the comics. So I kind of thought that was interesting, and I want to see how this goes and moves forward.
I'm glad he's not getting mutated into a bird person.
Yeah, that part wasn't good at all. Although I kind of wish Sam would get turned into a werewolf because there's a long line of werewolf and Captain America stories, which I'm fascinated with.
Blade is coming. We're going to get the horror part. And then I want a Blade Sam Wilson team up where Sam is a wolf.
I want that so bad. Like, we deserve it.
LaToya, did you know that was a thing and happens in the comics?
I didn't, but I appreciate anything where we're going hard into horror now. I still think that Riverdale should have, after the first season, gone hard right into Afterlife with Archie. That's the hill I will die on. That the show would have been iconic forever if they had done that, honestly.
Wait, but side note, which I know doesn't matter to this podcast, Riverdale eventually did get like supernatural elements, right?
No, they would always create like an explanation for why things were happening. So they never committed. That's the thing. If they commit, I would be happy, but they did not.
That's why because I saw one episode out of context because I was like thinking of maybe getting back into it, and it was like there was like a demon that like a cult that I think Betty was a part, and I was like, what the fuck is
they
this?
all part of the cult, but they all had like there's an explanation for everything always.
Love it. All right, so Torres is so cute, and I really like his character. I like him as like Sam's excited sidekick. I really hope we do get him as Falcon. I wouldn't even mind if it was in the last episode, but I don't know that that'll happen so quickly. I don't know. Yeah, Brett, Steph, you both are comic experts. Do you think that they will do that in the finale or no?
I don't think so. I don't.
Yeah.
There is too much going on for them to just also add that.
Fair.
Because, I mean, we don't know we're about to the point of, like, what is Ms. Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine doing in the finale if she pops back up? Like,
that's true. Which we will get there in a moment because we find out Carly is MIA. They can't find her. Sam is worried about like tracking her. He doesn't know if they'll be able to find her. Leaves with the shield, leaves the wings with Torres. We get Johnny Walker's like trial, which
I love that you call him Johnny Walker like the alcohol.
I mean, he's right there. I mean, it makes sense. His name should be Jim Beam. Like,
well, but that's literally what it is. Because when he's reintroduced, after like he's assassinated or whatever, he comes back as Jack Daniels.
All right.
Really?
Yeah. So Perfect. Johnny Walker is right.
Have y'all talked about how? Well, I know, Ian, you're super into the Marvel Legends as well. That the John Walker Marvel Legends figure is a Walmart exclusive. Which just says so much because he is very much the Walmart exclusive Captain America. Yes. It just feels like very subtle shade that Hasbro's doing that I don't think they're aware of, but it seems it's very appropriate.
So like, right, I was annoyed because I thought like, oh, is he gonna get away? Well, like I was glad he didn't get away, but I was glad that we were realistic in like nothing really happens to him, right? Like
they take away his benefits.
Well, okay, but I mean, he's not like put in jail. No. He's not like there's no.
His wife is fucked basically for when he like dies doing something really stupid.
But wait, but hold on. It's the fact that they pan to her face when this is happening, and you can see how distraught that she looks. And that sent me. I know it was wrong, but like I knew in her mind, she was just like, "Well, fuck." So I gotta get a job now. Like, what?
We both clocked it. And that's what it was.
Oh God, I'm so sorry they fucked her bag up.
So I did like that, and I like that he's throwing a tantrum, and they're just like, oh, it's okay, blah blah, you're lucky we're not. And when he's like, Senator, I am Captain America, and the fucking senator's like, not anymore. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, you're not Captain America anymore, motherfucker.
Oh, but like he is Captain America in the way that America fucking sucks. Like,
yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
When he's saying that, he's saying like, I am Captain America. I am the result of what we have done to 20 years of men and women, like just shipping them off to fight nonstop and traumatizing them over and over again for no fucking reason. God, that just hit me right now. Fuck, you hate to see it.
I did feel bad for his wife because I just was like, man, is she also realizing that her husband is like very unstable now? And like, ugh. So they go outside. She's trying to be supportive, and we hear the clickety clock of some boots. And I yelled, "Oh my God," because it was fucking Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Elaine Bennis working on set. I feel like they talked to her agent. We're like, she doesn't have to audition. We'll give her the script and a silly costume as soon as she arrives. Just deliver it the way she delivered everything on Veep and Seinfeld, and we're good. And I feel like that's what happened.
Watching that scene, I realized that like the level of intimidation that Julia Louis-Dreyfus you watch Seinfeld, you do not think of her as an imposing figure.
Right.
But like Veep, very much so. And then bringing that into the Marvel Universe, and the way that she made John fucking Walker look so small and so just like clueless. And she completely had the authority, the intimidation. She did not give a fuck about who else was around. Like, I just love, hi, how you doing? To his wife. Like, just the complete don't give a fuck at all-ness of it. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus, the only person that could do that. That is like of that age, that stature that you believe like has lived a life. And now hopefully her and Samuel L. Jackson will get to flirt on screen.
God, I love it.
What I did in my research, which was definitely extensive and not just like one Google search, was that she was originally supposed to be introduced in Black Widow. Yeah. But that obviously has not come out yet, because I don't know if you guys have heard. We've been in a pandemic. I don't know if you guys know about that.
No, I've just been hanging out. I didn't know that I couldn't go outside.
You wouldn't know from my job.
Oh, God.
I was retail.
It is clear that she's like, this is a whole Thunderbolts setup.
I was going to ask if you guys thought it would be Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers.
Well, I think, they are interchangeable in a way. But I do think, like, we're about to get, like, them clearly saying Zemo is in the Raft now, which was the headquarters of the Thunderbolts. John Walker was the Warden when they were in the Raft. If she was going to be in Black Widow, Yelena Belova is a member of the Thunderbolts and Dark Avengers. So it's like, I thought they were building Young Avengers, and then I was like, West Coast Avengers, and now it's like also Thunderbolts. Like, they are doing so much setup in these shows. It's ridiculous.
Adam Sass isn't here, but I will say what he texted me. He was like, oh my God, if we get a scene of her going to Westview to recruit Agatha for her Dark Avengers team, I will die. And I was like, oh my God, yes, that would be the dream.
Because there are a couple of witches, Satana and, oh God, there was another witch. June Covington? Who is she? I don't know. Toxie Doxie?
Yeah, for whatever weird reason, for a moment I was like, was it Enchantress? But no. But maybe if they want to switch things up a little bit, they can introduce her that way.
And also Ghost and Shocker from the movies are also part of Thunderbolts, and I fucking loved Ghost, and I want more of her.
Ghost was amazing.
Oh, right. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. That character is the character in Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just imagining a Marvel TV show starring Daniel Bruhl and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Like, what world do we live in?
So I had to Google her because I think Madam Hydra to me has just always been Viper in my brain. I didn't realize that, like, probably when I started reading comics, she was Madam Hydra, right? Like,
for a lot.
Viper comes later. So I had to Google who she was. do we think, and I saw that there are like, it could be Hydra, but it could be, what is it, Leviathan or Leviathan? The group from Agent Carter?
Yeah.
Stephanie, what do you think it could be?
Honestly, I'm not sure because there's just so many different avenues and like so many different strings that they're already like setting up to pull from because
that's how they get you.
You know, yeah, like she's got and they've got me, unfortunately, because this has nothing to do with anything, but like she flirted real heavy with Sharon Carter's boyfriend, who at the time was Captain America. So like there's tension there. I don't know. Like, I legit don't know because it could, like, there's just no wrong answer because it could be an assortment of things. It could lead to greatness because we have her in the MCU now. So whatever.
True. Yeah.
As long as they don't introduce Yellow Claw, hopefully they're done being racist.
I mean, it sounds offensive. Just I don't even know what Yellow Claw is, but it does not sound good.
It's horribly offensive.
I will say that my mother was, she lost her shit seeing Julia Louis-Dreyfus in the show. And with the combination of that and Catherine Hahn, she's like, this is what I love in the MCU. Yeah. Having these comedians just take over in these dramatic roles.
Well, that's what I said before we started recording, that like when Julia Louis-Dreyfus walked on the show is when it became gay canon. Like it has been very... very straight unless you're into fanfic, and then you can go wild, hog wild, go have fun. But it's been very masculine men feelings, and then
which is gay in and of itself, honestly.
Which is, yeah.
Which is like just fuck, right?
Well, like, the way that she was just like, I know you took the serum. I know you don't have the shield. The government doesn't even, like, just like it was so good. I think. I mean, I do think it is Thunderbolts. I think that is, I would put money on it if I have money. But like, there's also the fun shadiness of like, hey, it could be a new Shield, and they could be like, Shield hasn't existed for 7 years or 10. Just really, really nuke that show out of orbit.
I know.
It's like all those fucking Nazis. We're good.
I always want them to acknowledge that show, but I feel like it'll never happen.
The show shot itself in the foot when they did not do the 5-year time jump thing, and they also didn't do the snap. So, like, people, I don't know. I don't watch it. I just asked the people that watch it. I was like, did they address the fact that half the population disappeared? No.
But Ming-Na Wen deserves. She's so good.
And also, you know what? They were like, fuck all those Nazis before the MCU was doing anything about saying fuck all those Nazis. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Mm-hmm. They went really hard on fuck all those Nazis on the show.
But yeah, and like even just like it felt like Julia Louis-Dreyfus was almost like winking at the camera. She was just so over the top and wonderful.
Having so much fun. So much fun.
I'm really looking forward to like moving forward. If she becomes like the Nick Fury, but for villains, sure. If we get to see her like, you know, glide onto set every once in a while for what, like a 10-minute scene. Sure. I'll be happy with that. I'll be so happy with that.
A different color hair streak every time.
Yeah. Great. The
new adventures of old Christine.
Of old Contessa.
Because like, even when she says her full name, I was like, it feels like even Julia Louis-Dreyfus is like, oh, this is a stupid fucking name.
I hate having this name. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also the amount of menace when she says like, call me Val, but don't call me Val, keep it in your head. And then her face for a split second is like, she could snap him in half with her bare hands. And then she slips back into the car dealership kind of guy. And it's like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus has layers. I just love her so much.
We stan. And I can't wait to, I was telling Adam, I can't wait to be real fucking annoying from Slayerfest 98 with tweeting like Elaine Bennis memes in relation to this. Because I got a lot ready to go.
Not Selena Meyer memes? Come on.
Well, also Selena Meyer. But I know, the weird thing is, I know Seinfeld better because Veep I watched one summer when I was unemployed. I watched like half of it. And then my Apple TV broke. So I didn't have like access to the HBO app. And then I just never went back to it. Even though I know I really liked it and would probably love to finish it.
Yeah, please go back. Treat yourself.
Get Sam Richardson in the MCU.
Oh God, yes. But also, like, now the Emmys are gonna be like, I guess we have to give an MCU show an Emmy because she's in the show. Yeah. We just have to throw Emmys at her. We have to do it, right?
Yeah.
But Catherine Hahn too, throw her one.
I honestly do think she could win something.
Yeah.
She will.
You do?
Yeah.
Her and Lizzie Olsen both deserve Emmy nominations for the show, but the MCU could deny it because you know how they are. But you put Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who they just love to throw awards at. Yeah. Now what are you gonna do?
So then we cut to what the hell do we cut to? Oh, Bucky meeting up with Zemo. I appreciated that. I was I was a little worried that Bucky was gonna kill him, even though I feel of course he wasn't. I liked that he called on the Dora Milaje and just they take him to the raft. There's no fight, and I liked that. I liked that. So also, Steph, we forgot. I wanted to correct last week on the podcast. I said that Zemo was Hydra. In the MCU, he is not Hydra.
Whatever.
But he's Hydra adjacent, as Steph said. But I was wrong. He's not Hydra.
We're so sorry, nerds. Please put your tweets away.
But I don't know. I really liked this version of Zemo, and I liked even that he was all right, I'll go. Okay. I had no hard feelings, Bucky. All right, I'm going to go with them. They let us know they're taking him to the raft. Bucky calls in another favor. I didn't think it would be a new costume. I don't know what the fuck I thought it would be. I kind of thought it was going to be rebuilding Sam's family boat is kind of what I thought it would be.
That would have been great. Ayo and all that, just oh, that'd be great.
They could fly in a new boat and just give it to Sam's family. I don't know. That's kind of what I thought. I realize that doesn't make sense.
I would say a new suit does work, considering my mom was very worried for Sam becoming Captain America. She's but he doesn't have superpowers. I'm it'll be okay, Mom.
I know, and unfortunately for me, because I'm calling people nerds. I'm a nerd. So originally I immediately thought of this Captain America, I don't know, 259 or something like that. I don't know, y'all. But anyway, there is a conversation that Sam and Steve have because they get jumped and barely survive. Well, Sam barely survives, and he's really upset about it. He's yeah, I don't have any powers and I'm running around with you and I got to do something. So originally Steve was hey, I'll call up Tony to do something. He's no. I'm actually going to go see the Black Panther because he's a black man and he'll understand what I need. So he flies off to, actually the Black Panther comes to pick him up in his private jet because that's
with his girlfriend
Rose.
At the time. With his girlfriend who is so annoyed by everything in Wakanda.
And rightfully too, because Sam ditches her because she wants to go on a date when they get back, and he's no, I gotta go show Cap these wings. So when that happened, I'm wow, first off, Bucky, wow, you are really pushing it, asking for a favor after what you just did, but okay, cool. I see the romantic, because Io pretty much told him hey, don't come around here anytime soon. You gotta wait for things to cool off. And he's all right, I won't come visit. I won't come back for summer camp. So that's fine. And then I was yeah, so he's finally going to get his vibranium wings or suit or whatever it is from Wakanda. And I just really love that because that further ties Wakanda into the broader MCU and hopefully plays into seeing, I don't know, Sam pop up in Wakanda to do some things that has absolutely nothing to do with white people.
Yeah.
I do always pointing out that in the comics, Sam Wilson was just guy who talks to one bird for 4.5 years. And he did not get those wings until almost 5 years after he debuted, which just blows my mind that you name a character Falcon, have him team up with Captain America for 5 years, and you never give him wings. That is so wild to me.
I can't remember which one of you tweeted that, but yeah, Brett and Stephanie often make me feel have I ever read a comic? But I read a lot of comics as a kid. I absorbed everything and was so into the comics, and I had no fucking idea he didn't automatically have wings when he was introduced.
I thought he always did, but no, he could just talk to one bird. Red Wing, one bird, not even multiple birds. He could talk to one bird.
But hold on, even before that, he was kind of Birdman in that that one video where he's clapping his hand and the pigeons are flying around because he was the pigeon guy in his hood. On top of that, so it gets his history is very interesting. Yes.
All right, so we then get Sam. He goes to visit Isaiah. And Stephanie, I do think I know I asked you this in that episode if we thought he would be Patriot. I feel because we see this like kid again, I was like, oh yeah, then he's definitely supposed to be Patriot.
Yeah, well, I always have the subtitles on because I don't know,
Same.
like I just leave them on. But anyway,
with Marvel stuff, they sneak shit in. Like it is good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It says Eli there. His full name is Elijah because someone corrected me. It was like, I think you got that wrong because he's Eli. And I'm like, no, his name is Elijah. And Eli is short for that. It's not Elical or whatever the fuck. So anyway, yes. So yeah, that is definitely Elijah Bradley, and yeah, so we got a young Avenger right there.
Nice. And yeah, I missed that in the subtitles, but I watch everything with the subtitles as well, which did reveal, and we'll get there, the Sharon scene. But so what did you guys think of this scene? Because I did really like, I mean, that actor's really good. His scene,
Carl,
we talked about it before, Steph, in the episode you were on. Like, that scene is very weirdly placed, but it's like well done the first time we see him.
Yeah, because like, why is it nighttime? I mean, and this is like, I've been noticing this with other stuff. I'm just like, but why is it night? Like, why are you tending to your backyard in the night? Because you can barely see, but whatever, we'll let it happen. But that aside, I enjoyed it because, you know, the little brief interaction that we had with Isaiah in that second episode was just not enough. Because I'm like, there's no way you can introduce this character in this series and not at least go a little bit deeper into it, because to me, I thought that would be like Sam's, I don't know, like the thing that would either make him take the shield back or pick it up. And in a way it is, but I loved it because they go into more the themes of truth. And also something that a lot of us have been thinking is just like, well, why the hell would Sam want to pick up this shield? Because of the thing that it represents and just the history of America and Black folks. And Isaiah voices that. And I love that he is the person to voice that and give Sam something to think about, because it is complicated. Regardless of how you feel, like it's complicated. And also not all Black folks think the same. So to have those two in that space, have that conversation, I was actually pretty surprised because it's Disney Plus. But for but for what it was worth, like I felt like it got the point across for, you know, what they were able to work with.
Yeah, again, I liked what you just said, Steph. It's like, because lots of times in shows like this, when they try to show, like, it's like, oh, everyone thinks this, and it's like, no, not everyone in the same like communities think exactly the same. And you know, I liked Sam brings a little bit almost like, that's when his broness naivete almost like works, right? Like he seems like he doesn't want, sometimes it felt through the series like Sam didn't want to, like everyone else, like his sister Isaiah are talking about racism, but he like didn't want to. And I like that he finally kind of had this conversation here, and he's still not 100% agreeing with Isaiah, but also like, you understand where both characters are coming from, I felt like. Like, of course, when Sam's like, don't give me your bitter old man shtick, and it's like, of course this dude's a bitter old man. What are you talking about? Like, why wouldn't he be? And you're right, in a way, it is why he picks up that shield, even though he had already picked it up. It kind of is like, we get the training montage after this, and it kind of is what boosts him. You know, he has that talk with his sister later, where she's like, don't let him get in your head. And that kind of, he's like, I do want to be Captain America now, which I liked seeing. I wish it would have happened earlier in the series, but I did like it.
Ian, I'm going to push back on something you said. I don't think Sam's so much naive as he is as idealistic as you can possibly be as a Black man. He's not letting the things keep him down. He knows exactly why he shouldn't be Captain America. In addition to his own, like, just reasons for not wanting to be, it's like, he knows how people will react to a Black Captain America, even if he's not saying it. It's like the thing that's unsaid, but like that it's clear, obviously. Like,
yeah, that's what Bucky says.
Yeah, Bucky finally realizes it. Yeah, but like it's when they first see Isaiah after they're leaving, and they get stopped just because he is walking while Black. Like he knows it, but he's trying to make things better. He's pushing forward. That's what he's doing. You know. He is not letting it weigh him down, which it can. Like he's not unaware of things that are happening in the world. He's not unaware of what it means to be a Black man in America. It's just that if he thought about that nonstop all the time and just like let that weigh him down, the Sam Wilson that we had would not be this, like, it'd be a different Sam Wilson, and he'd be very disillusioned, very unhappy. And I just want to also say, as my mother noted, makeup artists don't know how to make Black people look old.
I was waiting for anyone to say that, because Carl Lumbly looked like he had like weird tissue paper all over his face.
We know this man still looks good. He was just on Supergirl.
Yeah.
He still looks like he did on Alias.
I also love that you preempted that with, as my mother pointed out.
She was like, what are they doing to this man?
Yeah, because I noticed the makeup lines and I was like, what is this? Is this Riverdale? Like, what is this?
Is this Riverdale?
They didn't even have to do it. They could have left him, like, Carl could look the way that Carl looks, because even like in the comics for Isaiah Bradley, he still looks very young. So does Josiah X, because of the serum.
Yeah, it's because I was trying to explain it. I'm like, is it because of the serum? Like, he's supposed to possibly look younger than he is, but they're not sure, like, so his age isn't really even the age he's supposed to look like. I'm like, I don't know what it's supposed to be. This has been a weird week for Black hair and makeup after WrestleMania's amazing Black women main event, because there was a match on AEW with 2 Black women, and one of them, you could see like the glue for her wig was coming off like towards the end of the match.
Oh no.
Wow.
It was pretty funny. None of the white people, like white men watching the match, noticed, but my mom and I, we noticed.
Like, oh girl, like, baby, your wig is lifting a little bit.
Yeah, she patted it like right as she won the match. Like, yeah, we know.
It's okay, girl.
It was a great match.
Listen, I don't know how they keep any of their hair and makeup straight while wrestling. I'm impressed that any of them look presentable at the end of a match.
Oh, because, there are a lot of loud white male wrestling fans. The way they react when they have to realize that, people who aren't like them are wrestling. Like, I remember like a Reddit thread once like asking about women wrestling on their periods, and the posts were all insane. Just a bunch of men trying to talk about women on their periods wrestling.
That sounds like the 8th layer of hell.
And this was like it was like 2015, 2016. This was not too long ago.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Reddit.
Oh, Reddit indeed.
I once looked at a Reddit thread only because my friends, I'm not that big on Reddit, but I have 2 friends that are, and they were like, oh, look, they're talking about your podcast. And I was like, oh, everyone's being everyone's making fun of how I talk. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Never look.
Yeah.
Why would you never look?
Like, I look on like the big wrestling Reddit because like just so I could see, wrestling news or anything like that. When I was writing my Riverdale reviews for the AV Club, I did like the Riverdale Reddit hated me, because especially in season 2 when I just kept talking about how Archie's a fascist, they were so mad at me. I'm like, Archie was a fucking fascist. Deal with it. He was a mobster and a fascist in season 2. That happened.
All right, I forgot that's a plot.
Make your bones, everyone.
God. Yeah, it was like, and then of course it's like, has this person even ever watched? It was actually LaToya. It was our Amber Benson interview, and they asked if any of us had ever actually watched Buffy. No, none of us had.
Just doing a whole podcast. Jesus.
We're just making it up as we go.
Yeah,
that'd be a really good podcast. If we find like neither of us would like really watch, we're like, I guess we could just wing it
and just talk about it and see where it goes.
talking about The Wire.
Yeah, that would go great. Then Sam calls Sarah after he leaves, says he's coming back home. They have a conversation about the boat. We learn that Sarah can't sell the boat because whoever the buyer was said that like it's not in great condition or whatever. We also get like, I really like Sarah and the therapist were the characters that I liked at the top of the show. Like I was like, oh, I hope we see a lot of them.
Yeah, God, I love that therapist. Oh.
I'm really upset with I expected more Amy Aquino as the therapist, and like she's not here. I'm like, what are we doing? This should be like a Catherine Hahn situation. Like, come on, everyone, we're all dropping the ball here.
She's so good, and yeah, so I'm glad we get more of his sister because I think that actor's really good, and I like the character. I like their brother-sister dynamic. Like, I like her. She's just, like, always calling Sam on his shit and, like, always ready to drag him. But she loves him. And I don't know. I like that dynamic. I like, she decides that, like, he tells her that they're going to, like, rebuild the boat because we find out that, like, she's been helping feed some of the neighborhood kids. And he's like, oh, mom and dad had a lot of favors. Let's call them in and see what we can do. Bucky shows up.
Yeah, he does.
And this is the version of their relationship that I've been wanting the whole time. It's just, he's like, all right, I'll help you with the boat. And then he's like, oh, I gotta go. And Sam's like, oh, please just stay here. And I'm like, yes, I love this.
Hey, he's making eyes at Sarah. There's some mutual flirtation going on.
I was like, good for her.
It awakened something in me because now I'm going to admit this. I never saw it for Bucky, not in the same way that you all have, but it was in that moment. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And again, my heart grew 3 times as big because I was like, I get it now. And then all throughout that montage with the boat, I was like, yeah, you worked that thing with that arm. You got it.
I always like Bucky well enough. I learned with this show that my mother is in love with James Bucky Barnes. The way she spoke about it before we even started watching the show, and she's like, in that hair, I'm like, oh, mother, I have to tell you, he cut his hair. And then like the first thing is the flashback. He's like, you told me he didn't cut his hair. I'm like, wait for it. It's like she loves this man.
That's so funny. Yeah, I like this shit. And I really was like, oh yeah, good for her. When he's just like, hi, I'm Bucky. And she's like, oh, I'm Sarah. Like, love it. And I like Sam getting a little annoyed because it's like, that's my sister. So fuck away from her.
It's not because we saw him go on that awkward date in the first episode. And it's like, he can't tell her anything. But it's like, Sarah knows everything. She has been tangential to Avengers bullshit for a while. You know, like, yeah, he's like, if they start a relationship, they're starting from like a way more advanced truth space,
right,
than him and anyone else.
He like doesn't have to. He wouldn't have to pretend with her.
Yeah,
I was like already talking about like what a stepdad Bucky would be, and then he wakes up and he's like the kids. I'm like, look at this, it's working. Stepdad Bucky.
Oh. I thought that was like really fucking precious. I really liked seeing the kids, these like nerdy kids that they just wanted their mom to leave so they could play video games earlier in the season. Like, love seeing them excited over this fucking shield. Yeah, and like Bucky just like smiling about it, right? Like he's like, grumpy Bucky early in the season might have been annoyed at like children playing with the shield, but like this Bucky is like, oh yeah, cute. These kids are having a good time. Love to see it. So they like rebuild this boat. This is, I just love this kind of shit. It's like very slow, but like we're like letting them like breathe. The characters are just doing character shit. There's no like fight scenes. I love this. I love this when it's well done. You know, LaToya and Brett, I'm sure we've probably like, that was a shit in Buffy I would always like, the like friend moment stuff that the show did well. And I feel like that's what this reminded me of.
Yeah. It's literally the only stuff you can't do in the movies because a movie dictates that you cannot take the time to breathe. And when you do, it is the farm scene in Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, it halts everything.
You mean when Linda Cardellini is a wife? that was a place where I had to pause the movie when I finally rewatched it because WandaVision tricked me into thinking that movie might be not boring.
I will say, I did revisit, so I've been like trying to screen cap other Marvel stuff for like content for the internet. And I was like, okay, this movie isn't as boring as I remember it being, but it does stop dead in the middle when they're in that house.
Yeah, I said my big issue because I live tweeted that when I was finally rewatching it. Like, James Spader has too soothing of a voice to be a voice big bad. I'm just like, every time he would speak, I'd be like, I want to doze off. I mean, I loved his voice, like watching Boston Legal when he would do his closing statement in courtroom. It does not work as the villain of a Marvel movie if that's just the voice.
So where do we go now? I forget. Oh, we cut to John Walker talking to Lamar. See, I corrected myself. John Walker talking to Lamar's family. This scene made me well up. I got like misty eyed because I was so
What,
pissed.
Ian, you cried?
I know that's so off brand for me, LaToya. You've never heard me say that on a podcast before. But I was just so mad for Lamar's family because this asshole is like making himself out to be a hero to them just to ease his own guilt. When he could have easily said, I killed, like, that happened because I was upset that your son died. And like, I don't know. It's not like the family would have been mad at him. Like,
I mean, the sister wasn't buying that bullshit. I'm just saying.
She was not. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. I loved God. I was waiting for her. When he walked out, I was waiting for the sister to, like, follow him.
Yeah.
Like, but does John Walker actually think he killed the person that killed Lamar?
He's basically telling himself that he did to assuage all his guilt.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what that was. Like, he
knows it was Carly. Like, he was there. Like,
she is impossible to miss. She is tiny with huge red hair.
He could have killed this little girl, so he's not going to say that, obviously. Because another black woman bested him.
I just had an idea. I'll save it, but yeah.
Well, now I want to hear it.
We can talk about it offline, but yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, the mom crying just like really upset me, and it upset me more the fact that he was like fucking lying to this family. But I did, as you pointed out, LaToya, I love that the sister was just like arms folded, glaring at him like, nah, you're full of shit.
So great.
She knew.
Yeah.
So then we cut to Sharon, which so again, I watched with the captions on. It immediately told me she was talking to Batroc, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they do not make it clear if you're not watching it with the captions off.
They do not.
I spent most of that scene being like, is there a way to turn off the lights in that home? Because otherwise you might like have a headache all the time with the lights always being just like flashing like that.
Her home is like a big warehouse, it feels like.
I mean, it's hot and she's hot, but still, like, being that hot 24/7, it's got to give you a headache.
But I also love the fact that someone like this person is speaking like rapid fire French, so I was like, it's got to be this
the one French
right?
person you know,
right? Yeah. And then like it comes up, and I was like, yeah, it is. Thank you, subtitles. Screw everyone who says that you should not have subtitles on. You miss out on stuff. That's what you get.
You do.
Who's saying you should not have subtitles on? Who are these idiots?
Like, every 6 months on Twitter, there's this whole discussion about subtitles, and you're not a adult or like just being supremely ableist just because people are just terrible.
Saying that drinking lots of water is a weird phase. That's a new
saw
thing.
that.
People are bored in their houses and are just losing their minds on. God damn it.
No, I will not drink water or read or wash my legs. My freedom.
And the friends were the real villains in The Devil Wears Prada.
Well, I mean, we were all screaming about that before the pandemic anyway.
But yeah, I saw the someone screenshot it was like, these people are going to die. So it was all like, I get my water from Red Bull. And it's like, excuse me?
I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeesh.
I get my water from Red Bull. No, it gives you wings and you're about to die.
Yeah. Now, if you said you get your water from coffee, then sure, I might give you that. But also, you are also going to die terribly with your heart beating like a hummingbird. But okay.
You're gonna shit yourself to death is what you're gonna do.
So where are we? Oh, okay, but it feels too easy that Sharon is the power broker, right?
I hate this. I hate it.
That's what makes me think that they're doing it.
Yeah.
I wrote an article that was like, justice for Sharon Carter. She's a big deal in the comics. I'm so happy she's going to be on the show because, like, in the movie, she's always just been Captain America's beard. Like, they haven't let her do anything else with Captain America around. She's always in his shadow. And I was like, great. He's out of the picture. She can kick ass. And now it's like, don't make her evil. Like, don't do that. Don't give her that much to do. I wanted to do like a little bit less than that.
I mean, she's having a hot girl summer before the summer, and I can't hate on her for that. Like, I want her to be the power broker just because I'm like, do you, girl? Like, I was so happy for you being in like the best Marvel movie, and then they just kind of threw you aside. So like, do whatever you gotta do.
I like her being like, I'm morally gray and I'm running shit in Madripoor and no one can cry. Like, I like that, but it's all like, don't try to kill Sam and Bucky. Don't cross that line, please.
I mean, I guess just since my youth, I've always been rooting for Emily Van Camp when people are like, no, don't do that. They're like, no, Emily Van Camp, don't be depressed on everyone. I'm like, you go, girl. No, Emily Van Camp, don't do revenge. I'm like, you do all the revenge you want. And now they're saying, no, Emily Van Camp, don't be the power broker. I'm like, no, go ahead.
LaToya's like, no, kill Sam and Bucky. You do
Please
you.
get that pardon and then kill them.
But like, haven't you heard though? Like the MCU is like villain. I don't know, something like the Malibu Cup. Like villains go and they get reformed. So even if they are a villain, there's still a chance that they might not be by the time we get to phase 8.
Yeah. I am really excited for a Thunderbolts led by this Daniel Bruhl Zemo, because I can't think of another Marvel character that is further from the comics than this. Like, goofy comedic relief. Like, his Thunderbolts is going to be It's Always Sunny, and I'm all for that.
I mean, I appreciate Zemo here because I think Daniel Bruhl is very talented. I feel like if you watch Inglourious Bastard, everyone thinks Daniel Bruhl is very talented. But I just found like Civil War so boring that I was like, redemption, and that's what this is. So
yeah. I want to know what that ride was to Wakanda.
Right? Even though Captain America Civil War is not an Avengers movie, it technically is an Avengers movies, and like the Avengers movies, like they don't do it for me, honestly. Like I love all my friends, and they get together, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
But so then we get our training like montage. Bucky and Sam are like out in the yard, and Bucky apologizes, which I thought was really, I didn't think we would get that of him like apologizing out loud. I thought it would be like, since they're such like dudes, I thought it would be like, okay, we just assume that he's sorry now because now he's cool with everything. I was glad we got it out loud. I was glad it was said.
Yeah.
I mean, him literally saying, we did not understand what it meant to give a black man the shield. Like, just actually owning, hey, why people don't know everything. Him actually saying that. Because it did feel like Sam, his arc, the first couple episodes felt like, don't make me actually say it out loud, asshole. Like, every time he was like, why did you give up the shield? And Sam's like, duh? Like, obvious? Like, why are you not picking up on this? Don't make me actually have to, tell you about my pain and stuff. And I like that Bucky finally got it. It's great.
But it's hilarious though, because I mean, not hilarious in a ha way, but hilarious in a come on, because like he was born in the like 20s or 30s or whatever. So it's kind of like, things were great between you and the African American community back then. Great. Got it. So like, how do you not know this? Him or Steve for that matter. But anyway, I did appreciate that he said it out loud, just I get it now. And it's just like, yes, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you Googled.
While the Captain America movie never told us that Bucky enjoyed women of other persuasions, everything we've seen since then has said that, actually.
Yes.
I would just love if Captain America was like the movie been like, and here's how woke Bucky was as well. Here's Bucky's black girlfriend.
When you spend summer camp in Wakanda down by the riverside, you too will see.
They're telling him to take a break from Wakanda, but like all he wants to do is go back to Wakanda. He is White Wolf. Like, I mean, come on. Yes. No wonder my Nigerian mother loves him so much.
Actually, I want that series. Disney, give that to us. I want to know, like, because I know they got like 5 different Wakanda series coming. Sneak that in there for me, please. Just one episode dedicated to what that summer camp was like. Please, I'm begging you.
I actually have a question, Ian, because unfortunately I have not gotten a chance to listen to the other episodes for this series because I'm a terrible friend in person. But have you guys talked about like the fact that, and I've already said the show should probably be longer, that they probably should have like kind of made the show, instead of doing like the not buddy things, like they should have had the separate Sam and Bucky arcs and then they would intersect? Or have you talked about anything like that? Or it should have just been a Sam show? Because I feel like they're trying to condense so much when they should have possibly tried a different strategy for the show.
I don't know if we have. I mean, Steph, you've been on for most of them as well. I don't know.
I feel like maybe in a roundabout way, because to your point, like that's how I felt. Like I felt like that should have been the approach, because Sam isn't really a part of his own show until this episode, really, honestly.
Yeah.
And like the first episode to an extent. But no, like they didn't do that. If anything, they did like a John Walker and Carly type of thing, where both of those characters got kind of like their own episodes to a degree. And that's why I've been drawing parallels between those two. But no, they should have, because this moment actually probably would have hit harder. I'm not saying that it didn't hit hard, but it would have been a little bit more impactful.
Yeah. And like, I mean, there's a lot that I think they could have done differently with this series. I mean, Steph and I both, we've actually really liked these last 2 episodes, but the first few didn't quite do it for me. Yeah, it was a weird choice all around, but yeah, I think you're right that it could have been done differently. It felt like the first episode was Sam and Bucky's episode, and then like no episode since then has been like hasn't been that much development for them.
It just put them together, and it's like, no, they should have like waited to put them together first, like telling their stories. And because they didn't give out screeners like originally for this, but they gave like, you know, clips, and it was basically the both Sam as Falcon, you know, doing his mission, and then you have like Bucky in therapy, and those were the clips they gave basically, because it was like, so I assumed going into the show would be like more separate like that, and then they would eventually converge, not what we have. And I mean, I'm enjoying what we have, but like I think that is the difference between like why the show is like, I think the show is good, but it's not great, basically.
Yeah, sometimes going into recording, I'm like, do I have anything to say about this show? So we get this scene. Erica on Twitter did tweet, like, are you talking about how gay this scene was? When they're like walking separate ways, it felt like, oh, this is a scene where they turn back around and run and hug each other. Like,
this is the scene where I was like, take your shirts off. This is where I like noticed like what was happening in the chess situation, and I needed to examine it further.
I feel like because they haven't like objectified the two of them as much as they should be, I often forget how like absolutely stacked these men are. But yeah, this scene felt like, I was like, yeah, this is when they're gonna like turn around and hug and like, you know, maybe kiss, but like hug. Like I thought that there was gonna be that moment. But I did like, they like say something, what is it that they say about like, we're not really a team?
Yeah, not partners.
Yeah.
I'm like, just say you're friends.
yeah, like just say you're friends. Like, what are these words we're dancing around?
On the couch at your sister's place. Y'all are friends.
Right.
Might be brother-in-law soon.
Yeah. Let's get be his best man.
And I really liked what Sam says to Bucky, like, it doesn't matter what Steve thought. You got to stop looking to other people to tell you who you are.
Oh, yeah. I loved Falcon being like, it's like as soon as Bucky apologized, Sam was like, cool, so nightmares, what's up? Like he just was like, well, now that you've apologized, I'm actually going to help you. Like I'm going to be like, you need to stop avenging and start amending. Like I love seeing PTSD counselor Sam.
Yeah. I think that's like my favorite version of Sam when he goes into that.
Also, can I just say that because I think Sarah said something like, I'm not used to you being like so soft or something like that. I've come around to this. And I like the characterization of Sam to a degree, that he is like the sensitive Black guy who is amongst all these people who like have powers and different things like that. But he is the voice of reason because he's not like, let me punch things. He's not angry. Well, not that he's not angry, but he doesn't channel his frustrations in the same way that they do. So I don't know. There's something more there. But I just, something about that I just really like, because I feel like we don't get a lot of that. So I like that. Like, I like that Sam is the one to kind of be like, hey, let's talk about our feelings.
Yeah, it really is the best version of Sam that we've gotten now. Here at the end. And so we also cut to Sam and Sarah are together. They're about to paint over the name of the boat. And Sarah says, don't, we should keep it.
Which is pretty funny because it's like, well, it's time. And she's like, wait. After she's like, you know, we got to do this. She's like, she was very resolute about like, we're going to do this. And then soon it's like, nope.
Listen, I feel that.
I get it.
Like me doing anything. It also felt very... like at this point I was like, wait, but we still have one episode left. It feels like we've wrapped everything up here. But I kind of liked the like slow burn of like, all right, we're wrapping everything up, but we know that there's like probably going to be at least I think, right? Like John Walker is going to pop up in the finale?
Yeah.
Or do we think they'll save him for later?
No, I mean, the mid-credit scene is him making his own shield. That's going to fall apart immediately.
Oh, like the shield of Christ.
That shield is just nonsense. Like, boy, like what is happening?
He's
and
lost
what's his wife
it.
thinks happening, like in their shed.
So I really was like, it feels like we're wrapping this up. I wonder, I am very curious as to what the finale will give us, because then we see Sam training.
Can I ask, what is the point of all the flipping? When you throw the shield, he's like, then you got to do a bunch of flips and then you catch it.
So I thought about this long and hard, and it's the razzle dazzle. It's the razzle dazzle effect. Because if you're flipping to then throw it, like you're getting momentum, but also the way that the shield works makes really no sense because vibranium like absorbs energy, but I'll let it slide. But the flipping is the razzle dazzle. It's the shake and bake. That's what that is, because you're hoping that you'll disorient it, whoever
what the fuck? Why are you flipping? Oh, that was a good flip.
The purpose for the flipping is to show that Anthony Mackie can flip, or that Marvel's CGI is so good that they can seamlessly make it so you don't know it's a stunt double, because there were no cuts with that flipping, by the way.
Yeah.
I looked. Yeah. I'm like, so either Anthony Mackie is doing this, or their CGI is like, we're deep faking here with those stunt doubles.
I like the idea that like he got the script and then he like went off and learned how to flip, and he gets there on set and it's like, no, what are you doing? He's like, Chris Evans used to flip all the time. I learned how to flip. We're doing it.
We're doing the
was a stunt
flip.
double. Like, I learned how to flip.
Yeah.
We're doing
it. I did like the direction of the training scenes. Really, really hit home how fucking scary that shield is. Like, I don't know, like the camera being like over his shoulder when he was like throwing it and catching it, I just kept being like, oh my god, no god, like it's so fast and it's so, I could never catch that. I'd be horrible.
I would decapitate myself trying to catch that shield.
That house would have been all messed up.
Like, ooh, sorry, the porch collapsed. The shield hit it 5 times.
That's why when the kids were playing with the shield, I'm like, that's cute, but also that's very, very dangerous, and you guys need to stop immediately.
That's fair.
Also, hey, that shield has blood on it. Blood from an international terrorist on it. Yeesh. Clean.
So Carly meets up with Batroc in New York. We learn that he just wants to kill Sam. He doesn't care about their fight.
He got humiliated. I love Batroc, and I'm so glad he's back for more.
How is he not in prison?
It's the flips.
Prison just doesn't take for him.
He did the razzle dazzle.
He did the razzle dazzle, and they're like, okay, gotta let you go.
Well, no, did you see those flips? Let this guy go. He's good. So he's there just to kill Sam. I don't know. I'm still not 100% that Sharon is the power broker, just as I felt like that was too easy and quick. And aside from one episode where she was featured, she's just been in phone calls in these other two.
Well, yeah, like, why is she helping Sam and Buck? Because she hasn't been giving them bad information. Like, is she playing both sides? Oh, that would be fun.
Because, like I was saying, she wants the pardon, basically, which is what Sam is promising her. So you help them get the pardon, and then you fuck everything up because you're the power broker. And you have a pardon. You're able to just do free crime.
Free crime. LaToya.
Sharon Carter is the new big bad of Phase 4.
God, give me the Sharon Carter show. Sharon Carter, free crime.
Thanks for that pardon, guys. Boom, they all blow up.
It's just her. She's like in a fucking like Corvette, like flips them off. Thanks for the pardon. Bye.
So yeah, they like do their thing with their app, and then like nearly everyone in the park like gets up. They're all like, they don't want this vote to happen.
Wait.
I didn't put it in my notes. Stephanie, do you know what the vote was?
It's about the refugees.
Yeah, to send all the refugees back to their home countries.
And this motherfucker, the one who took the shield, I'm like, I want him to die. Like, he can die.
Yes. But like when everyone gets up, and it's probably because I keep rereading DC's because something is wrong with me. I was like, wait, are we getting zombies? Like, what's going? Like, why are you all getting up in mass? That's not what happened, but I wanted it to be the thing. I'm like, yes, add zombies to this. Like, let's shake it up. Let's see what happens.
Werewolves, zombies, give it to us.
It's coming.
You cowards.
So we learned that the senators are going to their vote. They're in like a very like comic booky looking. That's like not a room.
I feel like I'm watching the first X-Men movie.
Yeah, it has like red lights prepped. Like,
yeah.
I like when they're building this place. Oh no, make sure that you put in the red lights so that when bad things are happening, we'll turn those on. It'll be ambiance, like
the mood lighting.
Like, why is that a thing?
We should start a thing for like the nerds where it's like proof the X-Men are joining the MCU, and it's just this room.
Yeah.
So then, like, they go to do their vote, but then we learn that, like, even the guards are in on the flag smashers, and the, like, power goes out, blah, blah, blah.
It's prescient.
Yeah.
Congress people coordinating with, et cetera, Yep, they predicted it.
This was so unpredictable. How could this ever happen? The show was like, we wrote this months ago.
Yeah, we wrote this before it happened. So then we get Sam opening his special package from Bucky from Wakanda. We don't see what it is, but it's, of course, his costume. Yeah, and it was kind of like, I felt like it was paralleling the Sam's first scene in the beginning when he's like looking at the shield in his bedroom.
I like so happy. Is this film?
Do you guys think it'll be like full Captain America, like his cap outfit?
I was thinking it would just be wings, because would Wakanda just give him a Captain America suit? I don't know.
I mean, a vibranium one that will protect him and make my mom happy and not worried about him.
Like they won't be like, well, this definitely needs to have American flag overtones. I don't know if they would do that. I don't know.
I think for him they would.
If Bucky had like schematics for it.
You know what? Yeah, because can you picture like Bucky sending off like these little sketches
Bucky
or whatever.
sketching.
Like, can you all do this? But so like there's a Marvel Legends toy that is out. So from the looks of that, then they're like, we'll put your little flag colors on there. You can have this.
It hasn't come out yet because I haven't been able to buy it to put it on the freaking cover of these. I wish they just put these figures out when the shows came out, because the Bucky head I use is a custom Bucky head I got from eBay.
Oh, wow.
Ian.
Because I'm that intense.
You gotta make some money off this figure stuff you do. You gotta make money off this figure art, honestly. Like,
yes.
Sell some prints, baby.
Oh, yeah. You do a coffee table book.
Please.
I thought
Ian,
of doing like silly trading cards.
Yes, absolutely.
I actually think you should do this as a coffee table book. That's a great idea, Brett. Yeah. Do it, Ian. Make money.
No, for real.
Yeah.
All right. Well, someone find me an agent, and sure, I'm willing to do anything.
Just use Zazzle. Public.
So then we get the credit scene of John Walker building his own shield.
Him having his home improvement moment. Like,
so funny enough, I missed this the first time because I immedately cut it off after Sam opened up his little care package or whatever, and I had to come. I'm like, why I'm missing out on some jokes? Like, what's going on? And then I had to go back, and I was like, oh. Of course, he's like, this is why your toy is a Walmart exclusive, because you are in your tool shed making a shield.
I'm just going to be like, I am not doing the Walmart slander. I know everyone on Twitter likes to be like, Walmart is evil, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? For some people, Walmart is the only store that is around.
This is true.
That's fair. We need to stop being shitty to Walmart in that sense, because everyone on Twitter loves to be a woke king or queen for every goddamn topic, but sometimes Walmart is all you fucking have. So that's what I'm gonna say about that.
You're right, because when I lived in Chapel Hill briefly, they had just put up a Walmart, and I was like, well, guess we're shopping here now. Then I'll just make it no, that's shitty too. All right,
LaToya, you got us. You got
us.
I got it. I'm sorry. I have to live my truth and just let people know. It's like I when people like shit on like Applebee's and TGI Fridays and stuff. I'm like sometimes that's all you have there. Like it drives me insane.
Living in the New Jersey suburbs, like that's literally all we have. I think, LaToya, I think you and I talked about this. Like, I was like championing Chili's takeout all through the pandemic because, like,
I haven't. God, I miss Chili's.
I do miss Chili's because living in like LA proper too, because like you can only get these things if you're like in the hood, basically. I'm like, God damn it.
I mean, I'm from Tennessee. We were a two Walmart town in Murfreesboro. I prefer
Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro.
I'm familiar. Don't ask me how, but I am.
There are 4 Walmarts near me where I live in the suburbs of New Jersey.
I think there might be a third in Murfreesboro now. It's wild. I like Target, but not everyone has a Target. And I love me some Target.
There are 3 Targets near where I live. I guess we're at the end of the episode. Favorite scene, LaToya?
Oh, you put me on the spot. I wasn't expecting to do things, even though I know how this podcast works. What was my favorite scene? Oh, hi, I'm Bucky. I'm Sarah.
Fair. Good choice. Brett, what's your favorite scene?
I haven't experienced an episode of TV in a very long time that was just so, all of it was just the same. Like it was like 6s or 7s across the board. I can't. I'll say, oh God, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Jesus Christ, I forgot she was in this episode. It's been so long since we've talked about that part. That scene, obviously.
I was gonna say, do you need me to spoon feed you the Julia Louis-Dreyfus scene?
My brain just completely conked out. There's just so many montages and feelings.
Stephanie?
Oh man, like I'm torn between both LaToya and Brett's picks, so I'm just gonna say both. Because those are both moments where I was like, okay, I'm paying attention.
I think mine is the opening fight, just because I loved it so much. Yeah, I loved that fight. That was a fight that like felt. A lot of these fights don't feel. There's no like emotion behind the fights, and there was emotion behind this fight, and that's the shit I love. Not to once again mention Buffy, but again mentioning Buffy, like. You know, like a lot of the Buffy fights, it would be like, ooh, it's Buffy versus Faith. We've been waiting for this to happen. And like, do they want to fuck? And like shit like that. Like, I just love an emotional fight where it's like, we've been building to this shit.
What? Buffy and Faith want to fuck? What are you talking about, Ian?
What are you talking about? No, never. What do you want to see moving forward for the finale, Brett?
Well, obviously, I want to see Sam get the suit. That would be nice. And... You know, I'll say a Thunderbolts teaser, like more Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and like let's cement this. Let's make this happen.
LaToya?
Yeah, definitely Sam in the suit. It's about goddamn time. Sharon murdering everyone apparently, as we realized throughout the episode. I want Sharon to win.
Stephanie?
So definitely a Thunderbolts teaser, and like please don't kill Carly. I want her to stick around because I like Ghost. I see her as a redeemable character. So let's figure it out, y'all. They better figure it out. I'm gonna be very upset.
You know what? I kind of am the same way, Steph. I feel like they could very easily. They don't even have to 100% redeem her. They could make her like a Punisher type hero, where like she's like, all right, yeah, I might kill for what I'm doing, but I'm always like, she's like working toward. I don't know. Yeah.
Sam agrees with her even like, and they have common ground. Like I think she's definitely redeemable. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. What I want to see in the finale is Sam getting a suit and more Julia Louis-Dreyfus. What grade do you give the episode, Stephanie?
An A.
Oh shit. Brett, what grade do you give it?
B.
LaToya.
My knee-jerk reaction when you asked that question was B+, so B+ it is.
That I give it a B+ as well.
Unbelievable. Y'all gonna make me like I'm just gonna be the one that just gave it a damn A. Unbelievable. I'm so upset right now.
I'm sorry to betray you in your second episode co-hosting, Stephanie. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. If you like Slayerfest 98, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and other corners of the internet where you get your podcasts. You can find us on all social media platforms at Slayerfest X98. You can support us on Patreon where you get access to our mini episodes, which helps keep the podcast going. And any support is much appreciated. If you want to follow me, I'm at ENXCarlos. Stephanie, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on the Twitters and the Instagram at Steph_I_Will. In the link in the bio, check it out because it's where all my things are.
And LaToya, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on the Twitter at LaFergs. I host 2 vampire rewatch spoiler-free podcasts. Angel on Top, which is a rewatch of Angel. We're in season 3 right now. And The Vampire Diaries, which is a rewatch of The Vampire Diaries. We are in season 4 right now, but please don't quit, even though season 4 is bad, because we at least have fun singing a bunch as our coping mechanism.
And I will be bullying you to have me on for Angel sometime soon.
We'll figure it out, because I don't know if we're doing guests right now, but you might get some Patreon content. I think you're going to do. You're going to be a special Patreon guest, maybe.
Right. Good, we can trade off on Patreon stuff. Brett, where can everyone find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Brett White, and you can read all of my just so much coverage on Decider, Falcon Winter Soldier, The Circle Season 2 I'm going hard on, and we got RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under starting. So my life, it just never stops, and it's fun. I'm so glad we're getting a break before Loki. Oh my God.
That is cool. I would also like to pre-promote some coverage. I will, of course, be returning to do Lucifer coverage for the AV Club when that drops. So
nice.
Yay.
I, sadly, with Sci-Fi Fangirls like folding, I feel like Brett, I've been like, Slayerfest 98 has become the like, here's all Brett White's content, like Twitter profile. I'm always like, oh, am I annoying Brett? So I'm tagging him in like the fucking fifth thing this week.
I don't need the clicks because I'm salaried and not working for Screen Rant. Found it. Sorry, I am still bitter over CBR.
Oh, you're bitter over CBR?
Oh, yeah, no. Just once every 6 months when everyone starts talking about freelancer pay, just get me going. There you go.
Yeah. I feel like every other post is either Brett or Stephanie's writing. And I'm always like, oh, am I annoying? So I'm tagging them in so much shit.
I mean, you are, but not for that, Ian. Got him.
I mean, fair. All right. Well, we'll see you next week for the finale. Bye, everyone.